is you're the queen of the takeaway. You're the ultimate soft sell. You put it out there, then you kind of take it back. And so some of that is like maybe, okay, keep it one step in. Like maybe I'm pulling it back a little bit too far, but I think you're right. Just getting them to say, hey, this may or may not be for you. Can we suggest that maybe a half an hour would work? Like, because most people have enough time in their schedule and they say a half an hour, they've already kind of blocked out an hour for buffer time. Or
I don't think I've ever told anybody how long it takes, because it really, I think back to the one analysis I did where they had 21 credit cards, and John, you know which one I'm talking about. I mean, that ended up being a very long analysis. And
you don't mention time at all, because that's something I'm okay.
No, I mean, if they asked me, right? If they asked me, I might go into, how much time it was likely to take based upon the amount of debt they have. But basically what I think that part is, then you're setting the appointment in that appointment, right? You're not ever letting them off the phone. If they said, yes, let's go to the calendar now, pull up mine, pull up Jeff's. What is this? I see a Tuesday at 2. These guys are really busy, but I could get you squeezed in there with that work or this one.
Yeah.
Right? And so now, before you've ever got off the phone with them, they don't thoroughly understand it yet. Now, if they pull back and say, well, I want to learn more, now a video or now the meeting, right?
And then you immediately send them the worksheet, or how?
Sure.
As you're getting off the call. Okay. So I feel one note to myself is I need to be ready to do that, whether I'm on the phone. Obviously the computer's fine, but also my iPad. So a little technology note that I need to be able to keep the momentum going on whatever device I'm on at the moment. So
well, like when you book the appointment, right? When you book the appointment on our calendar, then they're immediately going to get the confirmation with the Zoom link, right? Yeah, so they'll get that. That's going to keep that momentum going, and you'll need to be telling them you will need to have your numbers ready before that appointment. So I'm sending you over the worksheet so you can get that completed, because they can't do the analysis without your numbers, your exact numbers, right?
Okay.
Diane.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Attilla. Sorry. No, mine might be a little empty, so you go ahead.
Okay. What I love, Diane, is that you're reevaluating, constantly. That's what, Debbie and I have had to do for this entire year now almost, is that we've just constantly, we started this direction and then we went this one, then we went back to this way, and then right down the middle. And, and that's just what this business is all about. It's constantly reevaluating what your approach. We went gangbusters on realtors until we realized they're worthless. So
Not
no, you're right. Many of them are. No, unless you could find it's almost like you feel like saying to a realtor, let me ask you, be honest with me. Are you an entrepreneurial type realtor, or are you just doing this, to waste time?
That's a good one.
Yeah, and I'm trying to be funny, because obviously we've got realtors on this call, but but you get my point. I was talking with somebody last night about this, and I said, there's people, you've seen them, Eric and Attilla and all that, they get it. And they, they're realtors and they do this stuff, and it's great. But man, just like you're doing, Diana, the evaluating and what's the most effective, we've been on that path with a ton of realtors who don't engage. We're finding, we're kind of transitioning over into, I agree with what Attilla just said there. If they're entrepreneurial people, then absolutely, they get it, they see it, another stream of income. They realize they're past their 10 years, and that in this particular cycle, and we've got these interest rates where they are, so they're riding the high hog and all this. But the ones that get it are, developing a plan just in case. But the other side of it, though, is
I think the other shift that I've made over the last couple of weeks is I realized that I need to shift my social media presence to this, and be really conscious. Like I have my profile now and Be Connected, which is a new platform. But today I'm shifting how I address my LinkedIn, and because sometimes I think it's easier to have discussions with people who don't know you. They know you so well that they get kind of sidetracked, or there's no sense of urgency or whatever. So that's one of the major shifts for this week, is that all of my social media is going to shift to be in alignment with what I'm doing here, so that all of the conversations that I'm meeting with new people, they understand that this is a part of the conversation for me. And I think that will work. That will plant the seeds, which I'm very good at. That's a skill of mine, is just continually planting the seed. But my social media needs to be the one planting the seed, so that when I talk to them, they're kind of ready to take that next step. So I'm going to be shifting, because I looked at my social media and I was like, if somebody was looking for that, would they resonate with what I have? No, they wouldn't. So that needs to shift. So working a lot in, yeah.
Let me ask you a question, and I need to know, who are you calling? Like, who are you reaching out to? Are these, do you have a book of business, like a financial planner, that are prior clients, or are they just friends, or are they people you hardly know from social media? Like, when you're talking now about possibly...
No, they're mainly friends that I know that are actually really struggling with finances and financial mindsets.
Okay. Let me tell you what I'm doing, and it's not the favorite way to do it from Jeff and Debbie's perspective, but I've done it in other businesses. I know it's going to work long term for me, because I don't have time to plant seeds. I go right for the jugular, and you know, and Eric could vouch for you. What I'm doing is I'm reaching out to people. I don't have a book of business. But I've got so many people that I know. This is just one stack of cards I haven't even gotten to yet. Okay, these are all people that are prospects. Here's another, I don't know, 100 cards. I mean, these are all people that are going to get called, that are categorized in different urgency as far as calling. I'm not even warmed up yet, okay? But what I'm saying is, what I'm doing is I'm just reaching out to people, and I'm the messenger. I'm laying this out on a platter and letting them know that it exists. And they may have an interest in this, they may not. I'm not even saying from which perspective yet. I'm just saying, you need to know about this. This is pretty incredible, okay? Now, Eric and I made 3 calls yesterday. He was on the back end listening in. One was a girl who, Eric, that girl, Gabby, did call me back, and I'm doing a demo for her on Saturday at 1 o'clock. She's interested in seeing what's going on. We got another guy that was pretty much, and Eric can vouch for this, this guy did not remember me. This is pretty much a cold call, a German guy down in Fort Lauderdale, but we were in a prior business together. He just didn't remember. He's getting on Wednesday's demo. And the third guy was out of Seattle, and he's interested, but I got to work on him a little bit. He thought he knew what this was, but he really didn't. But he's got a son-in-law who he said might be interested, and he's got a few other people without even knowing. And I could email you my follow-up email to all 3 of these people, what I send them. But the way I'm going to end up doing my analyses is as a natural byproduct of reaching out to these people and letting them know that this exists. Some will come in the business, some will do nothing, and some will have an analysis done and not come in the business. Some will come in the business and have an analysis done. It's a whole a la carte menu of things that can happen, but it's activity. It's things that are starting to happen. Okay, and that's just with 3 people, and that's how I've done it so far with everybody pretty much. So my MO has always been, as a natural consequence of talking to people, I'll get the sale, or I'll get the recruit, or I'll get both, or nothing will happen. So one of 4 things is going to happen. Or a 5th thing that can happen is they may say, Attila, this is just not for me. I have no interest in the analysis, but it's a pretty cool concept. I have a friend that's a financial planner that probably needs to hear about this. So really 5 possible outcomes. A referral is the 5th.
Right.
So that's kind of how I operate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, I don't mind. I mean, it's just, obviously Eric, you heard me I shot the breeze with them for a few minutes. Just how you doing? Long time no speak. Or do you remember me? Or we worked together in this previous business to remind them of. And this one guy this guy had like 3 heart attacks and 2 strokes, and he remembered me. And he says his memory is shot. I said, Randy, you remembered me. So, but anyway, I'll shoot the breeze for a few minutes, Diane, and then I'll say, hey, listen, the reason I'm reaching out to you, I remember you having a real financial mind. And I came across something that people with the following profiles we're starting to catch the attention of people that have the following profiles: realtors, mortgage brokers, CPAs, tax attorneys, financial planners. And it's what it is. It's a mathematical algorithmic platform or software where you plug in your numbers, your income, your expenses, your debts, and it will actually figure out the absolute fastest way to zero. It's remarkable. And there's nothing like this in the marketplace. So I just wanted to let you know about this, because you may have an interest in something like this. You may not, but that's pretty much what I say. And then I basically say, is based on that, is it something you want more information on? And when they say yes, I say, you know what? I could send you an email with links and videos and everything, but really the optimum way for you to see how this works and how it's helping families across America is to hop on a live demo. And we have them twice a week. We have one. Matter of fact, tonight we've got one at 8:30. And it wasn't good for any one of the 3 of them. But then I hit them with the Wednesday one. And if that doesn't work, I may have to go with the one-on-one. But that's pretty much what I say, with, a few variations depending on the feedback I get from them. But basically, I remember you having a financial mind. You were a sharp person when we met. I liked you, and I liked your style, or I liked your business acumen, or whatever. Okay, you're complimenting them. And I came across something you really should know about, and this is what it is. And then, you kind of lay it on the platter, and it's up to them. We're just a messenger. They're either going to say, wow, that sounds intriguing, so, and then what was the other thing I was going to share with you? There was something else as a follow-up I was going to say, but that's pretty much what I do, what I say. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So Jeff helped me out last Friday with a live demo with a gentleman that I called and said the exact same thing. He actually was out of town. I didn't know it. And I thought his number was bad, because I thought I tried him previously, and I got a disconnected number, but I was about to wipe him off my phone. I was about to delete him. And I said, what the heck? I'll try it one more time. Maybe I misdialed, and it rang, and I left him a message. Next morning, I'm coming back from the gym. He calls me back, and I told him pretty much what I went through with. Well, Jeff took him through a demo. He enrolled yesterday. I'm doing a live demo. I'm doing his analysis today at 4. His wife will be on that call, even though she has not produced any income this year. She's a realtor. She's caring for her sick dad, but she will be on the analysis. And he's already got a real estate agent that he wants to connect me with to do an analysis for. Wow. So I'm getting 2 analyses out of someone just by putting him through the process that I just explained to you, that I put people through. And do yourself one more thing. Do yourself a big favor. Go for people that are pretty successful now first, because the people that are struggling they're not gonna be as attracted to this as the people that are already kicking butt in something and looking for another.
Yeah, I think that's true, because when I talked to my brother, who has 30 years of banking, and he just bought a new commercial property, and I talked to him, and he's like, I said, this works for commercial property as well. It's something, obviously your mortgage is a big part of your financial picture. If we could cut that down dramatically, would that make a difference in your numbers, right? Because he's an analytical guy. He's all about the numbers. He goes, well, yeah, that would make a big difference. I'm like, okay. So what I really liked out of what I heard from you, Attilla, was focus on your activity level, because that's the one thing you can control.
Yeah.
And then go for, I was going for friends because, oh my God, you really need this. This is going to be a game changer.
Yeah, that's because you have a big heart and you're a giving person and you want to help them. I understand. But in reality, you're not helping yourself, because those people are not going to help themselves, and you're not going to be helped,
Right.
and you're going to be, your bank account's going to be zero.
Right. Well, it's, yeah. But
from
you're
this
right.
business, it'll be zero, you know.
Well, but what I'm also noticing as you're saying that, though, is my reaction from my brother, who is probably the hardest person to ever get a yes from on this kind of thing, because after all, I'm promoting it.
Yeah.
But the thing is numbers, people who have money, they already have a little bit of that mindset, and they're not so struggling that they have a habit of looking around. They have a mindset of seeing what's the best way I can play the game. And so
True.
Focusing on people who are that next level up while never ignoring the other ones, because I've planted the seeds with them. Everybody who's in that level knows what I'm doing. And I'll say, hey, look, I'm in this for long term. When it's time for you to come. I'm not going to be back. I'm not going to be changing companies next week. So I'm here to stay. So that's really good.
That's good.
But also up leveling who I'm approaching. And I think that the social media stuff with LinkedIn and this other professional network I'm with, I think that's going to be perfect, because that I can have those conversations with those people that are already like-minded to win the game. And so I appreciate that, because what you shared, because
no, it's my
really
pleasure. You're on the right track. You're on the right track. And let me just say, if you or Troy or anybody else wants to get, I got to get past next week. This real estate deal is so stressful. I can't even think my morning. If you knew my morning with this lady. But anyway, once we're into next week, if anybody wants to get on the back end and just mute themselves, I'll make a few calls with you so you could hear what I say. And just, you know, I mean, it's just the way I've done it my whole life in this industry. And I've made it to the top of 2 companies. So I know it works. It's a numbers game. And at the end of the day, the cream's going to rise to the top. And thankfully, like Jeff and Debbie say, you don't need an army here. With 12 people, you're at 6 figures if everybody's selling 1 a month. You know, I mean, everybody here is sharp. Everybody here could build a good team for themselves. And we don't need an army, you know.
Yeah. But the other thing that I'm really hearing is to shift in the way that I'm looking at it, and really just focus on your own activity level. How many conversations, that's what I'm hearing that's really different, because I was kind of measuring it, how many appointments, how many, you know, but if I can't control if they say yes or no, like you're saying, but if I can focus just on the activity, how many conversations do I have? How many, you know, that's completely within my ballpark. So that's something that I can really,
once,
you know,
and you'll know when you have somebody interested. And once you have someone interested, then you could be adamant and say, okay, the first thing we need to do is have a look at your analysis. Because like Debbie says, I don't know what your number is going to look like, but this is we've been saving so many people so many years on their most major debt, which is their mortgage. If we could cut 20 years off of that, would that make you happy? If we could cut $50, $60, $100,000 of interest off that, I don't know, it might be more, it might be less, but would that be attractive to you? You know? But first you got to get them engaged and get them in the conversation. Because I got out of the arm twisting business years ago. And if I start calling people about trying to set appointments specifically for the analysis, you know, I don't want to go in that mode. You know, I'm in the selling mode then. I'm good at being in the exposing mode. I want to expose as many good quality people as possible to this product and this opportunity. And the chips are going to fall where they may. And I'm going to be a wealthy man. And Jeff and Debbie, I will let you know which restaurants are my favorites. So you know where to take me when you're just rolling in the money.
I really like that, because it's more of an educational and just sharing from you. Yeah, I really appreciate that, because a lot of that really resonates. And
one last thing. My pleasure. One last thing. Debbie is correct. You can't make the reason I stopped sending the video, it worked briefly for me, but the reason I stopped sending the short videos is because then watching the video kind of becomes the issue. Again, I don't want to be chasing people. I don't want to be arm twisting. Did you watch the video yet? Did you watch the video yet? Did you watch the video yet? That's ridiculous. I'm like way too old for that. And I've been there so many times. You put yourself in a position of inferiority. You put yourself in a position of, chasing people and being defensive. It's just, hey, this is what I got. Are you interested in looking at it or not? You just got to present it right. Ask Eric, did I present it right? I just laid it out there, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but you don't get like that. You don't get like that by cherry picking and calling one person here for a possible analysis or this person here that can't even pay their bills for an analysis. You get it by calling good quality people over and over and over consistently. And before you know it, the words are going to roll off your mouth too. That's why I'm offering to. Go ahead, Debbie. You're on.
Yeah, I want to hear Debbie too.
Jeff says almost exactly the same thing, but I kind of like what Max says. What did he say about what does he say, Jeff, when he calls somebody? Leaves the message? I loved it.
Yeah, it was just so straightforward and so quick and easy.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean, is your house paid off?
Yes, that's
a great one. I love that.
You know what the common theme is, and then we can let Debbie do her thing here. But the common theme is confidence.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm hearing now out of Attila finally. And, so he's getting this down. He's understanding this thing and it's confidence. Debbie and I have come light years ahead of where we started. You start out with that, hey, I've got something really cool. Would you take a look at it and tell me what you think? No, that's a terrible approach. The bottom line is, look, I've got the best thing since sliced bread. It's an algorithmically based program that guarantees the fastest way to zero. When we get done doing your personal analysis, it's going to show you to the penny how much you're going to save, and to the dollar, or to the penny how much you're going to save, and to the day how much time you're going to save. And then but it's so straightforward but it's with conviction and confidence. And this is why Debbie was saying, what about your fake analysis? Because this is why I can go back to, if anybody pushes back at all on me, I can go back and say, well, that's unfortunate because, for example, the very first person I ever did was somebody here locally. She saved $272,000, worked out to be about almost just under $2,700 a month in interest she saved. It brought her from 29.3 years down to 8.4. Could you imagine saving that with you? Mm-hmm. So you get to the point where you get a lot of confidence. I think that confidence oozes out and people really start paying attention, and they follow.
I've got so many sample analysis that I've done, not because I needed to show it to somebody, but initially I needed to see it. Right? Because I would run across somebody I'd be talking to and they'd say, well, I don't know if this would work in San Diego because, a house is $1 million and, blah, blah, blah. So, I'd get off the call being fairly new, not really knowing how to address all of that. So, what did I do? I went to my software. I said, okay, let's plug in a house at $1 million and how much income would they need to qualify to be able to get into that house, plug in that much income. And I just did these. And it's like every time I did it, the results were amazing. Right. So I could go back to that guy and say, look, here's an analysis that we ran for somebody in San Diego. Right. And check out these numbers. So, it was me building confidence in what we had here and that it really is what people need. Right. And as I did that, the more analysis I did, the more conviction I got.
And we don't shy away from anything. Larry, your son, $1.65 million home. His savings, though, was going to be $9,000 a month. So you sit there and you just, I'm sitting here salivating, and thank God he's just a good guy, and and he gets it. And Larry did a masterful job in just saying, right at the end, he just, where you kind of come to that point where you're going to say, okay, are you pulling out the credit card or you want your PayPal? You know, and Larry's just going like, let's just get this done. You know, let's just get this done. I mean, right now. You know, so it was Larry just, I mean, wouldn't let go of him, which was awesome, and we were able to pull it off. And it's the best gift he's probably ever given his son. You know?
Amen. You bet.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a couple of comments and some attributes. I think. Well, I'm really glad that we heard this morning. We didn't have Shannon, but we have experience, and that's very, very important. So when I'm talking to somebody and I'm breaking the ice, and I think Attila and I have this kind of relationship over the years. When something good came up, we call each other. It's just there's a lot of people like that, maybe in our Rolodexes, where you share great ideas. And, you know, one of the things I admit to people right up front, oftentimes I'll say, hey, you know, I am a type E, you know, and they're thinking type A, whatever, you know, I'm actually a type E. And they're like, what's that? And I said, well, at heart, I'm an entrepreneur. I said, you know what an entrepreneur is? An entrepreneur is somebody who gets paid or compensated or does something for a profit for actually solving somebody else's problem or issue. It's that I like to get paid when I help people with something they need help with. And I've used versions of that to kind of break the ice when I'm calling people, because then they know. It's like, okay, you know, we're going to talk about this, but, you know, one of the reasons I'm calling is I've got something that helps people. And I don't mind, you know, I don't mind getting paid for it, and kind of weaving that into the conversation also. But when I'm talking to people, like last night, I had two people on the demo. They were both going to be referrals, and I knew it. The one guy's a mortgage real estate broker. He's not gonna take the time. Mark's not gonna take the time. I know Mark really well. But what Mark can do is get the concept and then tell others about it. That's why I had him on. And he had to leave 45 minutes into it because he had a mortgage deal blowing up. I get it. But I got his attention. And the other gal, Dana Hall, Dana's the one who started asking questions about how much does it cost? What's the monthly, right? She wanted nothing to do with this. By the way, when I was talking to her in front of CVS Pharmacy on the phone yesterday, pacing back and forth, just wanting to get somebody on the demo, she said no. She said, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I'm sick. I got all these health issues. I'm not in debt. And I could have taken the easy no. But what I did was I let her finish her call and I hung up. And then I texted her back, and I said, because before we got off the call, I said, I would love you to be a referral partner. Oh my gosh, it would mean the world to me. I need referral partners as much as anything. And so when I texted her right after the call, I said, by the way, I really want you to know what you're referring, what you're talking about. If you could jump on the demo tonight, you will have a better understanding of what this is you're referring people to, so that you'll feel better about it. And who knows what that means? She may be mulling that over this morning going, gosh, maybe I should just join this thing and bring, because she started giving me names right away. And I shared one with Troy that we both know. And I called Troy up yesterday. I said, hey, Dana referred Ashley to us. You know, let's work with Ashley because Dana knows Ashley needs this. And so when I'm talking to somebody, my end, of course, I want them to sign up, buy the product, tell others. But if I can just get a little juju going, that means the world, because I don't know where this trail is going to lead. And Attila, when he called me, just like you heard him talk today, he pretty much called me in that same frame of voice. He told me something months and months and months ago. Attila, you may not remember the seed you planted, but you said, you know, John, I'm really into financial services. If I could do anything, I was with this company years ago. If it was back, I would do it. You don't know, maybe Attila, you might not remember telling me this, but probably in like January or even October of last year, you started talking about UFF, and you didn't even know it started up again. And
because Debbie was in my head.
Yeah.
Calling me so many times.
And so you had kind of planted this seed that there was something really good, you know, to know about. So, I'm seed planting and talking to people and being upfront and, you know, say, look, this is who I am and this is who we're looking for, the profile. You may match it. We need, you know, I have not had a lot of trouble talking to people about this, but I will say this last part. What I have had trouble with is getting people to the Wednesday and the Monday. I mean, I've done pretty well. I've got a lot of people on. We got a great team. However, my question is Jeff and Debbie, because we were hoping Shannon would be on this morning, because we're all trying to leverage our own abilities and be able to do this ourselves in the dummy analysis, which is now going to be very important. Thank you. I did schedule with you for Thursday, Debbie. In the meantime, how open are you guys? Because I got a guy waiting in the wings who just can't get himself to go to Wednesday, Monday. How about if I got the guy on the phone, I say, let me check Jeff's and Debbie's schedule right now. Will you guys do a down and dirty analysis, a demo for a person on an individual basis? Just bring him in and say, hey, I need a demo with Mike. Will you guys do that if your schedule's open?
Yeah, do you want that one or you want me to take it?
Well, go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead, and then I'll chime in.
The answer is yes, because it's the core group. And we've made. Remember when we kind of read that agreement back and forth? That was one of our agreements is with the core group. If we know you've got somebody, then we'll do it. Do we like doing one-on-ones from a standpoint of an agent attraction call? That's tough because it's a lot of time, and you hope that people can do that on their own. But if you're still feeling, John, like you need that support or that help or what have you, then absolutely, for this core group and on all that, we'll certainly do it. And you can do exactly what you just said. You can send over a text, hey, are you available to do an agent attraction? Because it's not an analysis. It's an agent attraction call. And there's a very big difference. So we can certainly do that. So
I think it's our responsibility, though, John, to make sure the person we're asking Jeff and Debbie to do a one-on-one with, and I'm hoping by the end of next week I'll be able to do one of those. So I could help share that responsibility as a team leader. But it's our responsibility if we do bring somebody one-on-one, just make sure they're worth it. It's got to be somebody that it's not one of the realtors that Jeff was talking about that's worthless. It's somebody that is, and I don't mean to be rude, but I'm just speaking frankly here to the core group, somebody that's got a little oomph behind them where their potential is pretty strong. Like Jeff did a one-on-one with me last Friday, but this guy, he heads up, he's the CEO of the Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors. It's a freaking gold mine for this guy.
Yeah,
and he's excited, and this guy's excited.
Well, that guy was one where, and I love what Attila's saying here, John, is make it to where it is worth it for Debbie and I, because we are busy, believe it or not. We've got some things going on. But if it's somebody like that guy, I know you don't know for sure, right? We never know.
That's the thing. It's tricky.
Something. But boy, the credentials coming in were sure there. And speaking of that, though, I do want to ask one thing. I know we're getting close to the end of our we're at the end of our time here, but I do want to bring up something about that call, Attila, and I just want your input on this. When we did the financial piece, what did you think?
The financial piece? What do you mean? Which piece is that?
When we showed him the compensation piece.
Oh. No, I thought it went well. I like the fact that you got that one screen up and showed them what I didn't show, with the numbers plugged in, and that you don't need a lot of people. But I thought it was received well and it was explained pretty well. How did I do?
Well, here's my thoughts. I was trying to just to set the stage for everybody else, because I think these are our moments, that we learn things. And I love that Attila said, I want to do the financial piece. You do the first two pieces, basically. You do yours and Debbie's pieces, and then I'll do the financial piece. And so I was elated. I thought, this is great. This is exactly what you want, right? When you're trying to replicate yourself and all that. So he was going to do that. When we got to there, he opened up the slideshow, and so that I immediately just kind of go, man, I don't like it. I don't like the slides.
You don't like slides.
I don't like slides. I think it's hard to figure it all out on slides and that kind of presentation. And I think using that on a one-on-one like that, we're free to use that you know, what we try to use, which is that Excel spreadsheet, right? And that is so much easier to follow along. From what I've asked a lot of people, you know, which way do you like it? And I say, well, man, when you show it to me in the Excel spreadsheet, it just made perfect sense. It's just climb up that ladder. Here's the percentage difference, all that kind of stuff. So I would just encourage everybody, and Atilla, just you as a leader, you know, you may want to, on those one-on-ones, you may want to think about using that Excel spreadsheet versus the slides. I think the slides get, like, the one that really got me was the one where I think it was showing all the, it looked like that coronavirus, you know, you know, it's got that circle and then all the ones around it.
I think that's the pools.
Yeah,
the pools and stuff, and a person wouldn't have any idea. I mean, it'd be so clueless on that. It would have just been like, okay, whatever you just said. You know, it's just, unless somebody sat there and said, let me explain this to you further, you know, and really break it down. So there's some things on that slideshow. I just don't like it nearly as much. I don't think it's nearly as educational or nearly as impactful as doing that and then showing them those numbers. Boy, all of a sudden you've built them a team of 35 people and they're making $217,000, and that has nothing to do with the bottom 3 ways we get paid. I mean, that is so powerful. It's incredible.
Where is that one? Is that on the bottom somewhere in our back office, Debbie? I thought you said it was at the bottom somewhere.
Yeah, the Excel spreadsheet is at the bottom right, and you download it, and it says, what is it called, Jeff?
What do they call it? It's called the
income
goal setter.
Income goal setter. And remember, when you download that, we're actually using it on read only so that nobody can mess up the calculations in it, right? So it seems like you're not going to be able to input numbers on read only, but you can. So yeah, and you know, we are forced on these open meetings, the Monday, Wednesday, to use the slides. We're not supposed to use the income goal setter to explain the comp plan because it can look like enticement to the FCC, right? So that is something that we're not going to be able to use on any of those. But if you're one-on-one with somebody, yeah, you can certainly show the goal setter.
And one thing too, I think the goal setter is just so easy because remember, we show them our agency, right? And then we just continue on down to the, you know, to our franchise model, and then we continue on down to the pools and all that. So it's very nice, and it's very, you know, you can sequence into it very easily. Just for everybody's edification here too, when you're done, because what I would do is I would suggest pulling it up and then just saving it to your desktop. That's where I would grab
that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. So
and doesn't it come up to at 1750 to start, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got to get in there and you got to, is it the down arrow or the right arrow? Something changes it to 3,500.
Yeah.
Then you can just save it.
How do you change it?
But well, you should be able to go in there and just go ahead and do it. You know, but I
have to hit the down arrow, I think.
It's different on PCs and different on Macs, so whatever you're using. But with the point of what I want to make a point of is, let's say you build that team out, right? You've got, you know, let's just say you're demoing this and you're showing somebody this stuff, and when you're done, so you just sat there and you've shown them, right? And you're done. When you go to get out of here, remember you're done, right? You're showing them everything. You're going to go ahead and get out of here. It's going to ask you, do you want to save the changes to your income goal setter? That you always push don't save.
Okay.
And that clears all those numbers back out and it's ready to go the next time.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I know we're at the end of our time. I just want to say some tools coming your way. We've got the recordings, and I'm just going to send these out to the core group folks, and then we can figure out how we want to distribute the
Thank you.
Cut pieces. So we've got Jeff's piece from Monday or Wednesday, my piece from Monday or Wednesday, cut so that you guys could watch those and follow along or learn it or whatever the case may be.
Thank you. I noticed that you were recording. I did notice that you were recording. I was wondering,
and that's why. And then
okay.
So those will be cut and available for training purposes, right?
Right.
training purposes. It's not, you know, I really don't want to see those out on YouTube or anywhere sent out, because that's not their intent, right? And so you'll have each piece, and you've got an hour to spend some time. You know, now you can go and see, where does Debbie click? And when Jeff walks through Dr. Eli, what is he showing? What is he saying? So that's the better approach than, you know, what Shannon said as I sat and wrote it out for an hour and a half. You know, I don't want you to do that, but hopefully that'll give you that as an additional tool. And like I said, only going out to the core team, you guys can decide who else you want to give that to. We don't want people to just go through it over and over, and we sure don't want people to say, let me just send you this because it explains how it works. It's not designed to be a sales tool.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you guys very much.
All right. Good seeing everybody. We will.
Yeah.
We'll
Hey.
see you probably tomorrow. And
Debbie, I'm going to hold something up on the screen for a second.
Oh, your Healy.
Yeah, it came yesterday. Yeah.
Good for you.
I'm going to try it out. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
We'll
Thanks a
have to,
lot.
yeah, we'll have to talk about Healy. Now, I